Super cool to be here with Fiona on Maui. And the last interview we had with her was at the boat show in January, and we were talking about the introduction of the X-15 One Design wing foil class. And I'm really interested to hear what happened in the last 6 months and where we're at and how has it been going with this.
It's pretty cool. So it was a new role for me to start working with Starboard as the X-15 class manager. And in terms of being a class manager, the responsibilities include development internationally, working with different sailing federations, partners, coordinating different events, and most of all, providing the equipment for the sailors to get out there and to learn. And so in building the class, there's a lot of decisions that get to be made in terms of what do we want a class to look like, what is the ethos, what is the most beneficial thing for the sailors that are out in the water sailing. And so this year we decided to focus on youth development because it starts with kids. You have to in order to grow the future, you need to start young, and so people can have opportunities and really grow that excitement around an event and whatnot. So we had our first 2 big events just recently in June. It takes a while, as anybody who has purchased any piece of equipment to get equipment around the world. And so we had our first 2 big events, the first one being in Lago di Como in Italy, followed up directly by the Kiel Week, which Kielwoche in northern Germany in Kiel. So it was the first time wing foiling had ever been included in Kiel at Kiel Week. So that was a very big honor at a prestigious event because Kiel Week is the oldest regatta in the world. And it was really cool. We had 16 kids in Lake Como, and then we had 26 in Kiel. And everything spanned from some kids who had never been wing foiling before and those that were already competing and racing internationally. So all of the equipment was provided for free, and all the coaching was provided for free as well. So in Kiel, for example, we divided the kids up into 3 groups, like the very beginner, novice, non-experienced wing foilers. I took those and worked with those. And then we had Clément Colmas, who's here as well in Maui, and Elias. Those 2, Clément and Elias, worked super well together with the intermediate crew. Yeah. And then we had Saskia Sills, who has just retired from an Olympic campaign, and so she was working with the most advanced riders.
Oh, cool.
So really the goal of the whole event was to get everybody ready to be participating in races happening over the weekend. And we had some tricky weather to deal with, but everybody still participated in the races. And it was really cool to see the enthusiasm around the class, and actually having a bunch of kids on the water racing together with the exact same equipment was amazing for creating a fair playing field. Yeah. So in terms of development now, we just had another event in Fehmarn in Germany as well. We have an event in Scotland coming up in about 2 weeks. There's an event in Spain happening later, an event in France. We have an event in the US coming up soon as well. And so the events are now starting to pop up all over the place because of the attention that the class is getting and the interest. So for me, I'm super happy.
Are we going to look at something like this is going to end up into some sort of a world tour with racing formats with different tour stops? Is that one of the ultimate goals with it?
That's a good question. So ultimate goal in terms of, the first step toward developing a class, when you're developing a wing foil one design class, you're looking towards Olympic inclusion. That is the end all be all goal. But, it's a little bit premature to be sitting here now and be saying that because there's a lot of steps that need to happen along the way. Yeah. So, official class status, that's what we're in the process of getting right now, working with World Sailing to make sure we, fit all the boxes that are necessary that a sailing sport needs. And I think wing foiling is in a fantastic situation because you're bringing new people to sailing as well, so it's a really good synergy. And then beyond that, we will be having, with a class status, then you get the ability to run world championships, which also means national championships, regional championships, and building on that.
Look at that, we're building a structure into the sport. Exactly. It sounds kind of familiar with SUP, right? Where I feel like we're losing structure, but I'm not going to get into this here. But yes, structure and a clear path for people to build a career upon. Thank you.
That's the bottom line, is we can't just throw together a bunch of events and say, hey, you have to show up to this, because it doesn't work. You need to have a structure and a pathway for people to improve, for people to come to the sport initially, learn, improve, work with different local clubs, then you move up to different levels of teams and participation, and then you move up towards racing, and then higher levels of racing, national, international, and then world championships. And that's been a big thing that I've been focused on in terms of building with the X-15 class, is like, it's not just for people to go out and go wing foil and have all the same kit. It's like, how can we structure sports so people can be successful for a long time going forward? And that's been my focus.
Cool. Last question, Olympic inclusion. We have kiteboarding this year and windsurfing, right? The IQ foiling thing. Sorry, I forgot about that. So, and that's all under the patronage of the World Sailing Federation?
World
Is that what it?
Yeah.
And so what will it take for wing foiling to get in there? Do they have to can another sport in order to make that happen, or do you know the pathway there?
The pathway is there. There's a few twists and turns just in terms of work to get there. But no, I mean, in a perfect world, we might not live in a perfect world, but if we can talk about a perfect world, I think it would encompass, windsurfing, kite formula, IQ foil, and then, wing foil as well. So that would be my situation, the ideal situation, and that's what I'm going to work towards.
Well, look at that. Fiona knows the path on how to bring wing foiling to the Olympics. Maybe Fiona for president, and throw SUP there in the mix too, and we can finally have a structure and a path. Thank you so much, Fiona. Looking forward to see you in the channel tomorrow.
Me too.